Hey guys, this is my first stream, and I just wanted to give you guys an overview of my top-down analysis. So let's get started. It's not often that I start on the monthly. Usually just when the month switches over, like the first or second of the month, I'll jump on the monthly and just have a look where the market's sitting. But thought I'd show you guys, quite interesting. If you look at the last monthly leg, we pretty much rejected from the 50%, the equilibrium, which is pretty nice to see. It also lines up with a really nice weekly order block that we've rejected pretty heavily out of. So I can, if we look at this as in a bear market, or I don't know how you want to look at it, pull back, push down, pull back, potentially a push down, but this could have been a reversal point as well. So let's just see. I play it day to day, but I think we can expect a little bit more of a pullback here. Let's go on the daily. I'm going to remove this for now, as we know where we are. Okay. Actually, just quickly, didn't quite reach up into the daily yet. So let's mark that in just for now. Okay, so let's look at immediate price action. Okay, we have daily level, daily high was broken. We had daily high broken again. And finally, a daily high here, broken, which then we tapped into that weekly order block, not quite the daily, and had a low broken. So if we have a look at the weekly, yeah, that's nice. We have a nice, let's say, weekly low there. And I would say we're going to pull back to somewhere around there at least before we push up again, if we do push up again. I don't predict the market, I just go day by day. But that's pretty much all we need to see at the moment. What's this? Yeah, we have no break here, so this is our current daily high. All right, cool. I don't spend too much time on these higher time frames just because I'm a day trader. So I normally just holding trades intraday, looking mainly at the 4 hour, 1 hour, 15, 5 minutes for my entries and exits. But it's good to be aware of where you are in the higher time frame, just every so often, just to be aware of it. Not to let it confuse you though, but just when you're coming to these levels, be aware of potential reversals. If we're following a 15-minute trend down, you could see a push up. You don't want it to be a surprise. Okay, let's mark out now. Okay, this is our extreme 4 hour. I call them POIs, points of interest. You can call them order blocks, exactly the same thing. You'll see how I did that there. I looked at the high of the last candle that was engulfed by the next candle. And then I include the wicks just because it's just for me, And the next one, it looks like we had a minor reaction out of that. So that's being mitigated. Obviously, we've run the lows, so I won't clutter up. And then the other ones for continuations, we've got, let me just include there. So the last candle that got engulfed, and then include the wicks. I know some people don't include the wicks, but I do it just for slippage and all sorts, depending on the place where you have funding. Sometimes it's just a bit nicer. It sucks if you get stopped out by slippage and then it just goes your way. Nothing worse. So there's another 4 hour. Don't like this one as much, but let's mark it out because you never know what's going to reject from. Honestly, when we were here, I thought we were going to come into this one, but so you just never know where it's going to reject. There was a nice 4 hour here and really perfect rejection. And now we're just slowly working our way down. We've got a bit of consolidation here, which may provide some sort of support for a bounce. I don't know how big, but could be something to worth mark out. Otherwise, there's all this imbalance here that I expect to be filled at some point, especially with euro. Doesn't have to do it straight away, but euro USD likes to have quite a, what's the word, like a consistent market and not leave too much imbalance behind, especially in like current price action. You know, we have some up here, so I assume eventually at some point it will come and get filled. But I'm not counting on this happening right away. So now we've got 4 hour marked out. I guess let's have a look. Well, I wouldn't be calling it is a slight 4 hour break of structure. Oh, sorry about that. 4 hour break of structure. However, let me have a look on the daily again. I'll be wary of that because right now we have a daily liquidity sweep. So I will still mark this out as it did have a small amount of structure break. So it can potentially act as, where is it? Sorry about that. Something like this, and then we keep continuing down. It's very possible. A nice big wick here, so let's jump down again. And okay, the hourly doesn't really paint us that much of a story here. We've swung the lows. Let's have a look. Yeah, you see that takes me a bit of time. You know, I'm not rushing the analysis. I'm having everything covered. Like to look at the last leg down. Okay, so this is actually quite a nice hourly POI. Let's have a look. I don't normally use the hourlies that often, but this was a big sweep of liquidity and a big dump. So it's worth noting. We will refine it down. Okay, have a look. I don't know why that's been weird. Okay. There's one more up here. Okay, so you'll see I'll mark out the 4 hours and then we'll eventually start refining them down and down. Okay. Not really interested in anything lower than that at the moment. If we're going to have a bit of a retracement, it's in this discount zone. I'll be looking to get some follow through to go down. But let's just see if we wanted to get like a quick understanding of current price action. Let me just bring these in again. Oh, made this too big. Okay, so now we're on the 15. What a nice clear break of structure, I would say. So I'd say generally our main 15 high is here because that's the highest point. But if we want to look at internal structure, I always mark them out slightly differently because we don't know how fast this could take a few days, and we want to try to get into a trade either up to it, which would be ideal, and then follow it back down. So let's see. So we've got a nice 15-minute chock after the break. This will be our 15-minute low. I just have it as breaker structure because I know that, you know, if I want to break that, that's the next area, and this would be our 15-minute breaker structure internal. Okay. So pretty much now we're here. We know we're thinking the market will push up and then come down. It doesn't have to. Obviously, it can reject from any point and keep on going. Let me have a quick look at that consolidation that we talked about before. If there's anything potentially that looks okay. Yeah, I don't mind that. Let's just be aware of it. I won't be taking any trades limit out of this just because it's not that strong, but potentially if we had something like the market's coming down and we got a nice reversal pattern, I'd look to enter here off some form of order block and yeah, trade it back up. But I wouldn't be taking a risk entry off this area here just because it's a little bit of no man's land and there's so much imbalance below, so it's just not high probability for me. But let's get back to that structure. So we're aware of this. So we could easily pull down to that, fill a bit more imbalance and then push up, but it looks like we've got a nice 15-minute chock, a nice retracement and push up. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so we had two valid POIs. I will refine them. So this is the 15. I guess you could have entered off that and you would have got filled on that. It's not really how I trade. I would have gone to something like a 5-minute potentially and had a look at this one too. Yeah, that's a perfect tap and go. However, I would have been, because we had the chock, I would have had my risk entry here. I would have set a limit entry. However, I wouldn't have set a limit entry on this. Just the fact I would have been waiting and hoping that we got some sort of low time frame reversal pattern like I've drawn before. We tap in, we sweep. Sorry, that's bad drawing. We tap in, push back, we sweep, we break structure, and then I enter here. It doesn't always give you that, but with just my back testing, especially when we left here with this liquidity in Asia session, for me, I'd rather miss the trade than it come and stop me out and have to take a second trade down here, especially when there's all this underlying liquidity here. Some people will risk this, but it just obviously in terms of, you could obviously do 0.5%, depending on how you want to trade, but it would have been a very nice entry there, obviously, as we can see in hindsight. But so now we've got potentially, if we do close a 15-minute candle above this, we would have a new bake of structure. And there's a couple of areas I would look again. Let's theoretically, I would remove this. If this candle closes, or we get another 15-minute candle close above this, then this would be my new low down here. I won't mark it out. And then these would be I would then draw, depending on where it came from, my premium discount. You could have a look at this one if you wanted to. Be aware of it. I say I'm not going to risk entry off these middle POIs or order blocks. I will have my risk entry off the extreme, but I'd be aware of this. And like I said, again, be waiting for this on a 2-minute time frame to get in, if that was where it was coming back from. But yeah, at this moment, it looks like the moves happened. It looks like we've been left behind here. Potentially, there's a chance we just swing, fail, and then we get some sort of structure going on here. But yeah, there's not really. It's a bit of structure here that could provide some resistance, but one of my rules is trade with the current 15-minute trend. So I would need to see some sort of 15-minute break of structure in the opposite direction to be trading any reversals down here. Otherwise, I wait for like the extremes. But yeah, that's pretty much all for now. I'll try to do one of these every day and upload a little bit more about how I pick market structure and explain a little bit more about what it would be like. Explain a bit more about the reversal patterns that I'm looking for on the lower time frames and that sort of stuff. Because I think that once I explain that a bit more, it'd be easy to understand what I'm doing, especially on these lower time frames. Follow my Instagram for sure. I'm posting a lot of my setups there with rules as well. And I'll try to post a few more videos and shorts explaining each of the setups in a little bit more detail and how they play out, and hopefully with like some real world examples that I can attach to it that I have to make it just a bit more. Obviously, you can look at perfect lines drawn, but when it comes to the entry criteria, it's quite good to have some real world examples. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Any questions, leave comments below. Yeah, like and follow, helps me out heaps. And yeah, keen to do this again. And yeah, anyone wants to know anything at all, let me know. Thanks.